Everyone keeps saying you act like you don't care anymore, but they have no idea how much you're holding back just to survive. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're fine, but they don't see the way your eyes fall silent every night. Everyone keeps saying you act like you've moved on, yet they don't know how your soul still whispers their name in the dark. Everyone keeps saying you act like nothing touches you, but I know you feel everything, even the pain you refuse to show. Everyone keeps saying you act like you've changed, but maybe you just stopped letting the wrong people drain your spirit. Everyone keeps saying you act like a stranger, but maybe they never really took the time to know the real you. Everyone keeps saying you act like love doesn't exist, but deep down, you're just afraid to trust it again. Everyone keeps saying you act like you've forgotten, but your heart still bleeds for what could have been. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're heartless, yet you're the one who's been hurt enough to build walls out of tears. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're cold, but they don't realize how much fire you had to extinguish to survive. Everyone keeps saying you act like nothing happened, but the truth is, everything changed the moment they left. Everyone keeps saying you act like you don't need anyone, but that's just your way of not being disappointed again. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're emotionless, but silence became your only form of peace. Everyone keeps saying you act like a mystery, but that's what happens when your trust has been broken too many times. Everyone keeps saying you act like love is a game, but they don't understand how love once destroyed you. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're over it, but I can see the battle between your heart and your mind. Everyone keeps saying you act like nothing phases you, but deep down, you're trembling in quiet strength. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're better off alone, but maybe solitude is where you finally feel safe. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're untouchable, but that's only because they never saw you when you were broken. Everyone keeps saying you act like a ghost, but maybe you've just learned to walk quietly through pain. Everyone keeps saying you act like you don't care about love, but they don't see how much it still controls your every thought. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're okay, but the cracks in your smile tell a story of silent battles. Everyone keeps saying you act like you don't feel anything, but the truth is, you feel everything too deeply. Everyone keeps saying you act like a different person, but heartbreak has a way of reshaping souls. Everyone keeps saying you act like you've lost interest, but they don't see the exhaustion behind your eyes. Everyone keeps saying you act like you've given up, but maybe you've just stopped fighting for people who never fought for you. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're heartless, but they never saw how love tore you apart. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're above everyone, but it's just your defense against getting hurt again. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're numb, but numbness is safer than bleeding every day. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're detached, but maybe you just finally learned the art of protecting your peace. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're happy, but your silence after midnight tells another story. Everyone keeps saying you act like you don't miss anyone, but your heart aches for the same voices you avoid. Everyone keeps saying you act like nothing matters, but everything matters too much. That's the problem. Everyone keeps saying you act like a villain, but no one noticed who made you that way. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're difficult, but they never took time to understand your pain. Everyone keeps saying you act like love doesn't move you, but that's because they only saw you when love broke you. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're not human, but they don't see how much you cry when no one's watching. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're emotionless, yet your silence screams louder than words ever could. Everyone keeps saying you act like you don't belong here, but maybe you've just outgrown the version of yourself they miss. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're strong, not realizing that strength was born from survival, not choice. Everyone keeps saying you act like you've changed for the worse, but healing never looks graceful to those who broke you. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're cold-hearted, but your heart just froze to protect itself. Everyone keeps saying you act like you've lost your spark, not knowing that life dimmed your light for too long. Everyone keeps saying you act like love is overrated, but they didn't see how love once left you shattered. Everyone keeps saying you act like you don't care anymore, but that's what happens when caring destroyed you once. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're too quiet, but silence is the only language that never betrays you. Everyone keeps saying you act like you don't feel pain, but they can't see the wars you fight inside your mind. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're unbothered, but calmness is just your most powerful disguise. Everyone keeps saying you act like nothing matters, but maybe you've just stopped chasing what no longer values you. Everyone keeps saying you act like you've built walls, but no one asks who made you build them in the first place. Everyone keeps saying you act like love doesn't impress you anymore, but love stopped feeling like peace a long time ago. Everyone keeps saying you act like you've become someone else, but maybe you're just becoming who you were always meant to be. Everyone keeps saying you act like you've lost your emotions, but some emotions are too sacred to show. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're hard to read, but they never learned how to listen between the lines. Everyone keeps saying you act like you don't care who stays or leaves, but that's what happens when you finally love yourself. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're too proud, but they don't know how much begging you had to do in the past. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're fine without love, but deep down, you still crave connection that feels like home. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're done with everyone, but peace has become your new addiction. Everyone keeps saying you act like you don't need help, but they have no idea how much you've survived alone. Everyone keeps saying you act like you've grown cold, but your warmth was burned too many times to glow freely again. Everyone keeps saying you act like you've shut down, but sometimes shutting down is how you recharge your soul. Everyone keeps saying you act like you don't care about the past, but the past still lives in every heartbeat you hide. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're above emotions, but they don't know what it took to master your storms. Everyone keeps saying you act like you've stopped believing in love, but love stopped believing in you first. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're over them, but your silence is just your final love letter they'll never read. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're emotionless, but numbness became the only way to stop the bleeding. Everyone keeps saying you act like you don't care who hurts you, but now you care too much about who gets access to you. Everyone keeps saying you act like you've changed too much, but maybe you've just stopped apologizing for who you are. Everyone keeps saying you act like you don't miss them, but you've just mastered the art of pretending you don't. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're calm, but inside, your heart still trembles for what once was. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're heartless, but you've just stopped showing your heart to those who never deserved it. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're over love, but you're just over giving your soul to temporary people. Everyone keeps saying you act like you've lost your spark, but maybe you just refuse to burn for others anymore. Everyone keeps saying you act like nothing touches you, but I know how deeply you feel. You just hide it better now. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're distant, but distance became the only way to protect your peace. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're fine, but you've just stopped explaining your pain to those who caused it. Everyone keeps saying you act like love doesn't move you, But you're tired of chasing emotions that always leave you empty. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're free, not realizing freedom came from finally letting go of who hurt you. Everyone keeps saying you act like you've become cold-hearted, but coldness is just the armor you wear to survive warmth that lied. Everyone keeps saying you act like you've changed, but they don't realize pain was your greatest teacher. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're strong, but strength was never a choice. It was a requirement. Everyone keeps saying you act like you've stopped caring, but you've just learned that not everyone deserves your care. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're untouchable, but deep down, you're still soft in places no one reaches anymore. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're too calm, but chaos once made you lose yourself, and you promised never again. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're not emotional, but they'll never understand the wars your silence hides. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're above pain, but you just refuse to let it define you now. Everyone keeps saying you act like you're healed, but healing is just learning how to walk with invisible wounds.